What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone? Everyone. We welcome you to the first episode ever of the Godly View. So, brothers, I have my brothers up in the building with me on tonight. My name, as you all already know, most of you know, my name is Reverend James H. Glover III. I am podcaster, youth pastor, and founder of the Godly View. And tonight, I have my brothers on here with me that's going to be rocking it out with us these next, uh, for however long that we can rock it out. We're going to rock it out and do what God has asked us to do and called us to do. So I'm going to kick it over to my brother, Pastor Gregory Divine. It's on you, bro.
What's going on, everybody? Godly View Soul Brother family. It's so good to be here on today for this inaugural episode. I'm definitely excited about what's going to happen today and throughout our journey on this segment. And I look forward to sharing with my brothers. And I hope that somebody is blessed and somebody's mind is enlightened.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. Our brother AB, it's on you, bro.
Hey, what's going on, brothers? Always a pleasure to sit
Yes,
down with
sir.
y'all and talk. AB Bracewell is my name. We will have to change that little icon up top. It's
Oh
still,
yeah. We're gonna change that. We're gonna change that
but
as soon as we get
but,
that.
but
Soon as we get that logo,
I'm
we
with it.
got it.
I'm with it, man. I'm just ready for the conversation. And ready to sit down and talk with my brothers. This is gonna be it's a good topic. I'm just excited, for this first episode, and I hope there's many more to come after this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see we have our executive producer in the comments. She isn't here with us tonight, but we see her in the comments. Hey, sis, how you doing? We pray you being safe traveling home. And you all, we have a great episode for y'all tonight. We are talking about my brother's keeper. And we starting it off with a little bit of a hot topic on our young brother John Morant. And anybody that watches the news, it doesn't even have to be sports now. Anybody that watches the news, you have heard about what is going on with our brother John Morant. I'll give my opinion on it here in a little bit, but I'm gonna let our brothers kick it off first. Whichever one wants to jump in here first and kick it off, and then I'll give my opinion on it.
I'll jump in there. When I first saw this story, I mean, the first thought was like, it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation. I was embarrassed um, because he just got out of this situation like 2 months ago. It wasn't a year ago. It wasn't 2 years ago. 2 months ago, he was just suspended for the exact same thing, flashing a gun on the internet. And 2 months later, you made the same decision. I wouldn't even say mistake. You just made the same decision to 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 do what you just got out of trouble for. So when we talked about this earlier, and I was like, this is in perfect alignment with the topic, my brother's keeper, because I started to think like, who who you got around you, like who's around you, who's guiding this brother, who's advising this brother. Obviously, he doesn't have anyone to pull his coattail. He doesn't have anyone that's giving him any sound advice, or he's not listening to it. But it's just sad that you can make a mistake, but when you do the same thing, not only 2 months, after you just got in trouble, it's not a mistake. You're making some silly choices right now. This brother just got he has the role paid for him. He's talented.
Right.
He's admired by kids. He's idolized. A lot of kids look up to him. My son looks up to this guy. My son has a picture of him on his Instagram. So he doesn't understand the choices that he's making, how it's affecting so many other people. It's not just affecting his daughter, of course it is. It's not just affecting his immediate family, but he probably doesn't realize he's an example for so many young men that's aspiring to play ball, aspiring to do what he's
Right.
doing, and they can follow exactly what he's doing. Kids are very impressionable. They can follow what he's doing, thinking that it's cool to flash guns on the internet. And when you think about it, is that really you? Is that really you? Who are you trying to oppress? Who are you trying to be? I don't know exactly where you came from, but I do know any man that dedicates his time and his life to a certain craft, like basketball or any
Mhm.
sports, that means you were so dedicated at that craft that you didn't have time to be that person that you're trying to show the world. You was not
Right.
that guy.
Not at all.
You was in the gym
Not
all
at
day
all.
long. You wasn't out in the streets. So I don't.
Mhm.
It's just embarrassing. I feel bad for him. Feel bad for his family. Kind of just waiting to see what the verdict is going to be. If he's going to get a longer suspension, a half a year, half a season, or whole season. But yeah, it's just sad all the way around. But I'll leave it at that for now.
Pastor Gregory.
I definitely echo all those sentiments, AB. And it's like, I think the first thing many of us want to say is that, oh, this thing is racial. It's not. This thing has nothing to do at all with race and all to do with responsibility and accountability. And it's like, when you consider, John Morant's position, the influence he has, the place in life that he's reached, with his talent, he has to realize that, first of all, real gangsters don't do what you're doing. Real gangsters would never
Uh,
be on social media doing that. You
Not
know,
at all.
and my thing is, when you start trying to portray an image that you're not, you run the risk of that actual community then coming after you because you are portraying to be what you're not. My prayers are with this brother, and to echo AB's point, I do pray that he gets some sound individuals around him who can help him realize the error in his way. And the sad part is that his father is one of the folk that's around him.
Come
That's the
on.
sad part.
Come on.
His father just got into it with Shannon Sharp at a basketball game the other month. So it's like, man, he can't turn to his father because clearly your behavior may be of what you've seen in the home, which speaks to the importance of what are we doing in the home to rear these young men up in the way that they should go. It's not even so much about faith, it's about morality, period. What are you putting in your child to move forward? That whether it's a corporate America, whether it's athletics, whatever it is, that they can succeed and not get caught up because they have done something stupid. And it's not even just a moment. This dude has 6 or 7 infractions like this. And that's the thing. Like, dude, why are you playing pickup basketball with high school students? He got in trouble the other year. They beat up a kid. What? Now the NBA let that one slide because they said it wasn't him directly, it was those he was with. So my thing is, there are some individuals, and I'm gonna land this plane here, who you have to lose everything sometime for you to actually get the point. And I hope and I pray that is not this dude's reality.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when I look at them, they're saying I'm hearing online on ESPN and all of these other sports stations and on the news. He needs to change the people that he hangs around. No, he
Mm.
don't need to change the people he hangs around. He just needs to start acting like he's really supposed to be acting. Because
Okay.
if he changes the people that he's around, all he's gonna do is go and incorporate and surround himself with more people who are gonna be yes men to him on what he is doing. Let's keep it all the way 100. This
Hmm.
man has so much money that he can pay people to say yes to anything he wants to say yes
Right.
to.
Right.
When you look at Nike signing him to a long-term deal, which
Right.
now Nike done pulled their contract with him, they not even releasing his suit because of this last infraction. They not even releasing his suit now. When you look at Gatorade signing him to a longer extension, which now Gatorade is pulling their partnership with him. When you look at the Memphis Grizzlies offering him so much money just to dribble a basketball. They not asking you to be a thug. They not asking you to be a role model to society. Just dribble a basketball and
Hmm.
stay out of trouble. And he can't even do that. He Then you look at his family. We touched on his father, but the first infraction that he even got in was because of his mother, because his
Right.
mama called him to Foot Locker because some kid got smart with her at Foot Locker,
Right.
and she's like, "Oh, let me call my son, and I bet you my son is gonna handle this situation." If your son has this much money and you know what your son temperament is, why in the world are you gonna call your son and get him in a situation where he can
Mhm.
lose it all over
Everything.
something stupid? Let's be all the way 100 with it. The NBA gave him a smack on the wrist with that 8-game suspension.
Right.
A smack on the wrist. Looking at the NBA commissioner now and looking at how he was looking at him, or looking at how he was talking and his body language as he was talking about this last infraction on John Morant, it wouldn't surprise me if it ain't for half a season because
Right.
of the simple fact of the way that he was looking. Because this man is looking like, you look me dead in my face and you
Hmm.
lied to me.
Hmm.
His father was on a podcast, sit down discussing with Chris Paul's father and some others, talking about how can you separate the fact of him being my son when he's making so much money in the NBA. You got to still be a father. I don't care
Right.
how much money he makes. You still have to be a parent. Parenting don't stop just because he's making $500,000.
Hmm.
Mm.
And you know what? Common sense ain't common. And
No.
it's like people want to say things like, you know, money won't change me. Let me tell you something. If Gregory Devon ever gets $50 million, oh,
Come
money
on.
gonna change me.
What you
Money
said?
gonna,
Come
my
on.
phone number gonna change, my
Yep.
zip code gonna change, where I live gonna change, who I'm around gonna change. It has to, because you have to protect your star player, which is you. You have to make sure that you put yourself in an environment to where you have that, like you trust the caliber of people that are around you, right? Then you have to
Mhm.
protect yourself away from those who you know don't mean you any good. My thing is we're quick to say that what, well, money should not change you. No, there's some things in life that have to change because you have money. When you have reached that type of plateau, you have to change. You have to put things in place to protect your assets, protect your livelihood, protect your family. And you cannot. You might be from the hood, but everybody who's a part of your history ain't a part of your destiny. And what's
Mm,
familiar to you ain't always for you. And we
mm,
have to realize that sometimes elevation requires separation. So you have to know how to manage relationships, friendships, even family, you know, as a result of where you are in life. You know, you have loved ones who you may love dearly, but we all have loved ones that we know. Well, I gotta invite them just to the cookout, can't not to my house because
mm.
you I see
Something
you at the
done come up
family.
missing.
Love, but you do some things that I ain't with, and that's just real. But we don't want to keep it a buck sometime and say that because we're like, you know what, I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it 100, keep it real. No, you better keep it actual and factual. You better know who you are and what you have to lose. And when you have things to lose, you cannot let anybody ruin that for you. Because once it's gone. And don't cry to God now about God restore this. No, you should have asked God, help me be responsible.
Yeah.
Y'all. I know y'all saw the movie. Well, hope maybe you did or didn't. When the guy said, "All I got in this world is my word and my,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, and I ain't breaking them for nobody."
Hello.
He needs
Yep.
a lesson in manhood because, like you were
Mm,
saying, James, he looked everybody in the face. He looked the whole country in
everybody.
the face
Yep.
and just lied through his teeth. And it's hard as a man if you don't stand up to your word, if you can't be trusted with the things that come out your mouth, what you say you believe or what you say you're gonna do, that people cannot count on you, like you lose all trust as a man.
That's right.
Like that, and that's what's the saddest thing about this situation is that he sat down, said all these words that I guess his PR people wrote for him, looked in the camera, and you had some sympathy for him. Right? He's young. I don't know, what, 22, whatever he might be. He's young. He made a mistake. Just give him an opportunity to make up for it. We're gonna give him a chance. 2 months later, you do the same thing, and you just lied to everyone. And that's the saddest part for me. Like, now I can't trust you. I can't trust you. And that's not only for Ja Morant. That goes for any man.
That's right.
If you look me in my eyes and tell me you're going to do something, and you just do the complete opposite intentionally, like, that relationship is gone. I can't trust you anymore. I can't rely on your word. And I'm not saying that I would totally abandon the friendship, but I'll deal with you at arm's length.
For distance, yeah.
Yeah. So that, I think that's one of the worst things that came out of this situation for him. Yeah. As a young guy, you might do some dumb decisions. You might follow the crowd. You might not know how to be an individual yet. And you might fall into peer pressure, things of that nature. But if we can't trust what the words that come out your mouth, then that's the hardest part for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. And a couple of other things I want to touch on. Let's be all the way 100 and keep it a buck. This young man did not come out of the hood. He came out of the suburbs, from what I was told, living in a good house, had good education, didn't know nothing about gang violence, from what I was told, from what I'm seeing online about him. So you wait till you get all this money to act like you don't have no sense. And then
Right.
on top of that, you got to look at the people that are hanging around him. If they know that you're gonna act like you ain't got no sense, why in the world are they pulling out their cameras, going Instagram live, just
Right.
for you to act like you ain't got no sense? If
Exactly.
I'm in a car with Ja Morant and I know how Ja Morant is, I'm not pulling out my camera for nothing, because you are going to sacrifice and really be willing to risk everything that we work for, and we are going to go right back down to where we started from, which is nothing.
Yep. Think about this, gents. So Romans 12. Don't conform to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Here's my thing. To young black boys, older black boys, and black men. We have to watch not only what we put in our mind, but how are we transferring information to understanding, then over to wisdom. My thing is, we make a lot of excuses for people in the media, even ourselves sometimes. And when we see, like, with Ja Morant, we're making excuses for him, and we'll say things like, well, it's not illegal to carry a gun in that state. Number one, you don't know what state he was in that truck. That's number one. Regardless, even if you did, here's the thing. I work in corporate America as well. I'm a pastor. I can't do that on my social media because my corporate America job will fire me. The same as with Ja Morant. So my thing is, we're acting like they're holding Ja Morant to a standard that's unfair. No, it's not. It's the same standard that we all get held to. I cannot represent my company that way, to where I'm on social media just being ratchet, and expect my job to keep me. No, when I get to work Monday morning, they finna we need to see you at HR. Clean your office out because this is your last day. And I can't be mad because I signed paperwork for the job stating what I would do and what I would not do. Every corporate America job that I know of nowadays had a social media policy, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to agree to it. The NBA tells these players, to y'all's point earlier, what you can and cannot do. You cannot misrepresent a global brand like this. Like you could have potentially been one day the face of the NBA
They
because
was
you
trying to
have
make them.
that much talent. But now you would never be the face of the
Never.
NBA. And you better hope that you can still play one day because keep this in mind, the NBA don't need you.
Yeah.
Young black talent comes a dime a dozen. If you screw up, you ain't Michael Jordan. You
You
ain't
ain't
Magic
even
Johnson.
LeBron James.
You ain't LeBron. You ain't Dr. J. You're not one of these iconic players yet. Now, your talent could one day potentially get you there, but now you've shot yourself in the foot, all because you want to wave a gun on social media and be what you're not. And then you have people in everyday society who are defending that behavior because they want an excuse for them to do it in their own life. And my thing is, at what point do we understand the need to start renewing our mind and
Mm,
start thinking like a man and acting like a man and not just being a reflection of a man?
mm.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
We do as men, like we see the story all the time. Like John Morant wouldn't be the first one
Right.
if his career ends. We see so many guys who growth gets stunted, have so much potential, and then we always will look back and like, hey, what happened to this guy? What
Mhm.
happened to them? This guy used to jump out the gym, or this guy used to run and such and such. Like he was a
Yeah.
star. What happened to him? Like guys just stunt their growth with
Mhm.
some of the crazy stuff that they choose to do, and some of the demons that they carry around. Like
Say that.
I don't know what that guy's history really is. I
Mhm.
don't. I didn't grow up in a house with him. I don't know what went on in his household. Even if he was in a two-parent household, every two-parent household is not a healthy household.
Hell
True
no.
So
that.
yeah, so I also question that how you can make to this height in your career, and you start making decisions that's going to potentially stunt your growth. Because like you said,
Mhm.
Gregory, he has the potential. You're not there
Mhm.
yet,
Right.
and this right here can stop you from seeing that potential. Not
Mhm.
because you wasn't talented enough, not because you wasn't good enough, just because you wasn't smart enough. And hopefully he'll get another opportunity to do it right.
Oh yeah.
Look, AB, I bet you wouldn't see none of Rich Paul clients doing that.
None.
They talk
None.
about Rich Paul, but that Joker didn't take the regular avenue that some of them other agents got, and they mad about it because he grabbing these high profile. You got LeBron and a few others, but you don't see LeBron ain't doing that. You don't see none of Rich Paul clients because he know at the end of the day, what they say, secure that bag,
Mhm.
secure that bag, and somebody better grab this brother by the collar. Yo, you better
Secure
secure
that
that
bag
bag because it could be here today and
and
gone
go.
tomorrow because you being stupid.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you look at Rich Paul's clients, we can take it back to his first client that he ever had, which is LeBron James, one of
Mhm.
his first ones. LeBron did it the smart way. He got his friends that he had around him and he
Exactly.
kept them around him. But
Exactly.
instead of him letting them be hangers on and not having a job title to do, he gave them a
Gave him
job
job.
to do to
Right.
where they making money
Hmm.
while being around him.
And
So
making me money.
and making me money. Exactly, exactly. So it's like that's what John Morant and some of these other ones need to do. Stop getting these guys around you that just want to be around you for the likes and the follows, and get the ones around you that's going to really have your best interests at heart and rock with you and be like, yo, we got to secure this bag. We got to make sure that we good. We got a family to take care of. We got a child to take care of. Let's make sure that we straight over here.
Mm-hmm.
And we about to jump into this main topic on tonight, which we already low key have jumped into it. My brother's keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? But first off, let's shout out one of our godly beef sisters, Miss Andrea Perry. Hey sis, how you doing?
AP, what's up, girl?
And we see some other ones are in here. Daisy, hey sis. Hey
Daisy,
sis. And we see Andrea Horton is in here. Hey.
what's up?
And I
Yeah,
also see Miss Newman in here. Hey.
What
yeah.
up?
What's
But
up,
you
Newman?
all, let's get into this main topic. Am I my brother's keeper? Let's start it off with this. What does that look like nowadays? I know back in the day what it looked like, holding each other accountable and all of that. But what does that look like in a social media day and age? What does
Hmm.
being my brother's keeper really look like? Because nowadays we living in a day and time where they telling people, well, we got guys around us that are like, you know what? No, I don't want to. You can't tell me nothing. Let me make my own mistakes. I got to live my own life. You lived
Hmm.
your life. It's time for me to live mine. What does being my brother's keeper really look like?
I think it starts with love, to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
In my mind, the number one thing, it has to start with love. I have to love my brother in order to do all the other things
That's
that
right.
will make me his keeper. And to me, those other things include like protection. Like I have to
Hmm.
protect. I protect you, my brother. Whether you here, whether you're not here, I'm not letting anyone talk bad about you. I'm not. I'm being a trustworthy friend. I'm looking out for you. If I see you going in the wrong direction, I'm nudging you. Like, no, I don't think that's a good. I don't think that's the right choice. I'm not only protecting you, but I'm supporting you. You
Hmm.
know, whatever you got, some type of dreams, you got goals, you got some aspirations, whatever I could do to help you get there, I'm pushing you, I'm pulling you, I'm encouraging you. I'm giving you some words, some kind words. So I'm supporting you in whatever you do. I'm celebrating you as my brother. I'm not jealous of you. I'm celebrating you when I see you accomplish something. When I see you get to a certain height in your career or in your life, you get married, you have a new baby, you bought a home, whatever it might be. I'm
Hmm.
celebrating you because I care about you. I love you, and I'm keeping you. So those just are some of the things. But I think it
Hmm.
starts with love. We gotta love each other in order for us to do all those other things first. And I know that in this day and age, it might sound funny for a man to say, "Hey, I love another man," but that's where it starts.
That's right.
I got a lot of brothers that at times when we're departing, sometimes we'll just get each other the head nod or "all right, see you later." Then I got some brothers be like, "Love you, bro," and it's funny to
Hmm.
see how uncomfortable some guys are with
Right.
that.
Right.
Some guys might just say, "Oh, okay," and walk away. Some brothers might give it back, "Love you too." But
Hmm.
it starts with love between brothers. We gotta love each other in order for us to want to keep and protect and support and celebrate, and push and pull and encourage each other.
I
I
agree.
love that, AB. I do. I totally agree with you 100%. It looks like, to add to that, unreservedly giving of myself for the benefit of you. If iron sharpens iron, as the word says, so a man sharpens another man, then I have to love, as AB said, in a way that I'm willing to be vulnerable with you, and
Hmm.
I'm willing to be vulnerable with you to help you, right? I'm willing to be vulnerable with you that we can rub our sharp edges and sharpen one another, because this mutual sharpening here is for our benefit. If we sharpen each other, then we have to rub the our insecurities together. We have to rub our victories together. We have to rub our disagreements together. We have to do whatever it takes. Like, back in the day, what Nino Brown say, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Then my thing is to watch that movie. Now, granted, their methodology was off, but their well, no, their motive was off, but their method was wonderful, right? That their motive was to do evil, but their method in which they had each other's back, that's what it really looked like. Like if James needs me, if AB needs me, listen, yo, what do you need? I'm here. I'm to show up. What you need, bruh? I got you. In whatever capacity that looks like, and I'm not afraid that my love will be misinterpreted by the world. Well, what the world? Just like case in point, AB had an event the other month, right? I went. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, I was like, I want to support my bruh. I'm gonna go up there, boom. You know what I'm saying? Check him out, get the book, fellowship. This and that. I want to see him in his element, show my support. Boom. Because it wasn't necessarily because he asked, he put it out there for anybody. So my thing is, you know what? Let me take a weekend and head that way to show my support, let you know that I appreciate you as a brother and what you're doing in the community. Now, we don't live in the same community, but I appreciate what he's doing there. Because if I know of somebody else there that's doing something similar, I'm going to link them. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, we don't realize that the more and more bros come together, that's when you see communities change. Because when we have each other's back, women naturally get on board when they see men already X, Y, and Z. Because women are already, they will come together and do stuff because women are always the grassroots individuals who get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Like behind the scenes, and like women of virtue don't mind letting visionaries shine. You know what I'm saying? They don't mind because they know that a true visionary will support. You know what I'm saying? Just like with us, fellas, like there are women behind the scenes while we're doing what we're doing now.
Amen.
Certain legwork that make it easier for us to do what we're doing now.
Amen.
James, it was the visionary of all of this, but there are some wonderful women of virtue. Some are watching, some who come on and they do X, Y, and Z. They do what we can't do sometimes. That's why I never understand what the fuss is between men and women about trying to be equals. No, why? We no. The fight should be do what you do, I'm gonna do what I do, because God didn't create a woman to do what a man can do, do what men can't do. You know what I'm saying? And as we continue to have each other's back, sharpen one another, be our brother's keeper, again, that is a flame that sparks a fire. The more that we do it, because it encourages other brothers to understand that true intimacy ain't about sex, because men need intimacy in these man-to-man relationships. Intimacy is about trust. You need men in your life that you can trust. James, I'm going through, man. I need to talk to you. What's up, bro? Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And this might be just between me and you, or me and AB. AB, man, I'm going through, bro. I don't know what to do. I'm about to lose my mind. But I trust. That's intimacy. I trust that this information will stay between the two of us and not anybody else. That's intimacy. But see, men was taught that the only avenue to intimacy is sex. That's why we don't think that these man-to-man relationships need that. They do. It's about trust.
Oh yeah, and in all honesty, we could take it back to biblical days of where "Am I my brother's keeper" really got started. When you look at the story of Joseph, the reason why Joseph got in half the situation that he got into was because his brothers was not his keepers.
Come
They
on,
were
sir.
jealous of him. They was ready to betray him. They was ready to turn him in. They was ready to throw him away because they got mad about the dreams
That's
and
right.
the visions that God had given
Right.
him. Now, because of that, Joseph had to go through some things
Mm-hmm.
because of the experience of being betrayed by some
Mm-hmm.
people that was supposed to have his back. He went through the pit, he went to jail, but at the end of the day, he ended up back in the palace. And then looking at his brothers, when his brothers came to him asking him for what they needed, he told them what
Mm-hmm.
y'all meant for bad, God ended it up for good.
Come on now.
These the man to man conversations, that brotherly intimacy is needed. We need that because at the end of the day, if you don't get it, you will lose your mind. You will feel
Mm-hmm.
like, man, what am I gonna do? Like if all I had around me was women, I would lose my everlasting mind. However, however, what you got to remember also is you have to have the right man around you. You don't need these men around you that when you in a relationship and you call them telling them you going through it in your relationship, their first response is, "Boy, let's go to the strip club."
Mm-hmm.
Or, "Boy, I know some people around you that I know some people that I could call right now and we can get them over there at your house right now. We can have a party right now while you going through your situation that you're going through." No, you need real man around you that's gonna be like, you know what, bro, I know you're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, what we're gonna do is you're not going to the club tonight. You're not going to the strip club tonight. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pray.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As much
That's,
as much as I would love to say that I'm an expert at this, being my brother's keeper and my
mm-hmm.
brother keeping me, I'll be honest to say that this has been a challenge for me. And the reason it's
Oh,
been a
it's definitely hard.
challenge for me because me, like a lot of other men, I've been conditioned to keep my struggles, to
Mm-hmm.
keep my pain, to keep my failures to
Mm-hmm.
myself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been taught to 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 be that vulnerable man that I need to be in order for
Mm-hmm.
brothers to know what's going on in my life, so they
Mm-hmm.
can be there to support me, so they can be there to encourage me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely something that I'm learning to do each and every day. How can I be more open? How can I put away those things I was taught and conditioned to be that macho guy, that
Mm-hmm.
guy that's a weight bearer that can carry everything on my shoulders, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that kind of you know that someone asks me how I'm doing, my automatic response is I'm good, knowing I'm dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. But I think we've been so conditioned and so groomed to be these guys to carry all the weight, never show any type of weakness,
Yeah.
that it's even hard for other brothers to be our keepers because they don't know what we're going through. And I
Hmm.
and I am a prime example of that.
Yeah.
I'm a prime example of that. So to learn how to be more vulnerable, I got some great friends in my life, but
Mm-hmm.
even with the good friends that I have, I'm not always as vulnerable as probably I need to be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going through something, I'll go in my little cave, try to work it out by myself, uh, and hopefully I'll come out.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll come out. So I think that's the challenge when we say, am I my brother's keeper? We've been taught so much to just deal with our pressure, deal with our pain, deal with our hurt, that it's hard for us to sharpen each other because we don't know what's going on in each other's lives. We don't share
That's
those
true.
type of things.
Mm-mm.
And so it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I definitely like I said, as much as I wish I was an expert at this, I'm definitely not.
Well, considering what you just said, I think that all of us, I know I can relate to that as well, because
Yeah.
when you look at the nature of what, we do sometime, like I'm the pastor. Who the pastor go to? They come to me. So when the pastor and the unmarried pastor, who do I go to?
Come on with
I
it.
don't have a Proverbs 31 that my heart can safely trust in, as the word says. I don't have that. I don't have always somebody in my corner that I can, as Delilah had Samson in her lap, lulled them to sleep. Bad motive, but good method. My thing is, even church sometime conditions us to do what AB just said, and that is to hide what we're going through, to
Yep.
hide insecurity, to hide faults, to hide failure. Because why? Because when you was a little boy and you seen the old lady stand up in church, what she say, AB? I'm just want to stand up, give honor to God. I'm too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed. No, I am blessed and I am burdened. I am worried and I'm trying to worship. I'm trying to give praise while I got big problems. And that is the reality that all of us are dealing with sometimes. But to your point, it is very hard to put that on Front Street, especially when you consider our vocation, whether it is in ministry, whether it is therapeutic, whatever it is very hard for the wounded to be the healer.
Mm.
Right? I mean, like sometimes we are wounded healers. People are coming to us to get the healing, but we are wounded while we are walking. And it's very hard for us to first of all admit that, well, I'm hurting too, and I'm not certain that I'm in a right position right now to give you what you need because I need something. And if I've been taught inside of the church, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Well, I'm gonna shake this off and tell you and myself, I ain't stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm not going through depression. You know, the church has
I'm
done a
good
good
over here.
job of teaching deliverance, but they don't teach us how to struggle. And that is the problem. Struggle is normal. If you never struggle, you ain't normal. Like
Mm-mm.
my thing is we'll make people believe that, well, you know what? If like AB, I'm sure you probably had a client or two come in the office and say, well, you know, the pastor said the depression of the devil. I don't want to claim depression because that's demonic. No, depression is real and it will jump on you. Now, if you want to say it's a spirit, okay, but it's real no matter what. And the reality is sometimes we need to apply spirituality, but you better apply some scholarship too. You better go see your therapist and not just go talk to your pastor, unless your pastor has a psychology background too. Because if he or she does not, I don't care how well they can preach. I don't care how well and how good that hoop sound. I don't care. They might can preach them under the pews, but know nothing about mental health, know nothing about depression, know nothing about these disorders that sometimes plague these young people. You telling this, that's he got evil spirits. No, he got ODD. That's what he got. But you telling him that ain't the devil. He got a disorder. And that man and that young lady needs some therapeutic stuff, but you trying to hit him in the head with the Bible, or you trying to sprinkle some holy water or put him on the pressure. No, you better dial the therapist and pay that copay and stop playing with me.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think another thing that we have to look at is when we look at our counterparts of the other races. Men are not afraid to come to other men in other races and build together. In the black community, we look at it as when we're trying to build something together, we look at it as we are in competition with one another sometimes. And instead of, hey, I got something over here that could help you, I see that you struggling with this. let me give you this piece of advice because I struggled with that too.
Right.
We get it. We go through the standpoint of, man, they're gonna have to figure it out on their own. I figured it out. Then nobody helped me, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. But what we got to remember is every Joshua has a Moses.
Hey,
So we have to have somebody that went before us, that prepared the way for us,
there you go.
and can give us the blueprints to make it a little easier on us to make it to our destination. We shouldn't make everybody struggle to get to the destination. Give them a little bit of the blueprints that you learned along the way. Hey, I wouldn't stay up all hours of the night because when you get older, it's going to affect you more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's leadership.
Oh, yeah.
That's what leadership looks like. Is doing it first, not giving instruction. No, it looks like you getting out there and you doing it in the front and letting those that you lead see a model of what to do. That this is why, to your point, of why a lot of husbands are having trouble, like in their marriages. It is because we are trying to take the lead, but not provide leadership. It ain't the same thing. When you provide leadership, it's about service. It is about inspiration, empowerment. And the thing about it is that we don't realize coming together and being our brother's keeper makes us accountable in every area should we open ourselves up to it, right? I need some people in my circle who are married that I can see being the model husband. It doesn't mean that I do everything that they do, but I do see the blueprint of what they're doing, right? I need some people who are in corporate America who have made it, should that be my lot in life, that can give me some tips and strategies on how to come up. You know what I'm saying? I need some people, like a lot of us desire to make a mark in the stock market. But we think just buying a Robinhood account and buying a stock that you know nothing about means something. No, you better consult somebody that can help you to watch the trends and stop jumping on everything because it sounds good, and seek some wise counsel among some elders or among some people who have the information that you don't have. And we have to learn how to humble ourselves and realize, it's okay to say, I don't have the information that I need to be successful in this genre, right? I don't have the information that I need in this area. It's okay to say we don't know, but we have to know when Superman should take off the cape and just be Clark Kent. Because Clark Kent got some learning to do. That when he turns into Superman, he gets a better version now as a result of what Clark Kent has done. Like a lot of us, like we are afraid to not just be our brother's keeper, but take the information from our brother who's trying to help us and not be so arrogant about it and feel like, man, well, you can't tell me. I'm me. I'm Gregory Devon. AB, I got this. I don't need you, James. I got this. I can't do that. I got to realize, no, James may have it more together than you in that area because maybe I have some ignorance to this, but James is an expert. So if we friends, it's my brother, he ain't gonna mind helping me.
No, not at all.
About it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be arrogant about it.
Yeah, that's why they say pride comes before the fall, right?
Talk about it, sir.
And it's the pride that gets us. That's the pride why why we can't keep each other like we supposed to. Like you were saying, Greg, like we don't go and ask the questions we ask. We need to ask. We don't know how to even take correction sometimes. Somebody's trying to guide us when we're going the wrong way. Oh no, I got this. I don't need your advice. We don't know how to take correction. That's that pride. And then we walk around with so much trauma and distress, that we can't build those type of relationship with other men because of the things that we've been through, the abandonment issues that we had, didn't have a father in our life, or you know, your father could have been abusive, or just had some type of toxic relationship with men, that it stops you from building healthy relationship with
Right.
men as you get older. That I
Mhm.
see that happen all the time. I have brothers that I counsel right now.
Mhm.
Are constantly, you said ODD, oppositional defiant
Mhm.
disorder. The real issue behind that is the trauma.
Talk
Like
about
this
it.
young man has been abused by his dad for so long, and so extreme
Mhm.
that he fights any man that try to give him any type of instruction.
That's
They
right.
label him as ODD, but you know he don't trust men.
That's
And,
right.
and at the bottom, and so it's so much stuff. But when y'all was talking, that word pride popped in my head. We can swallow our pride,
Mhm.
and learn how to ask the questions we need to ask. Learn how to go to our brothers and talk to them. Learn how to be vulnerable. Stop being so self-centered. Listen, we'll build those relationships where we can really keep each other. We'll build those relationships where we really feel supported by other
Mhm.
brothers. I was wondering, so how would y'all advise a man that struggles with this type of thing? That wants a community of other brothers, um, but just have a hard time doing it, have a hard time building relationships with men, or
Mhm.
has a hard time becoming vulnerable and opening up with men like myself. Like, what type of advice would y'all give that brother?
I think one of the first things that I would say to him is don't be so masculine that you ignore the fact that you've got some femininity in you too. And
Mhm.
it's okay. Like you take the yin and the yang. One is black, one is white. But there's a little bit of white in the black, a little bit of black in the white, right? So it's like we have to realize that we have closed ourselves off to certain parts of ourselves because we deem that part to be unnecessary. We deem for ourselves, I don't want, that's not familiar territory for me. I don't want to go down that route. But that is what is closing us off, not just in this man to man relationship, but it also keeps you from being vulnerable with the other woman. Like if you have no vulnerability, right? No intimacy with a man, you will never give a woman intimacy. It's harder with her because she's the opposite of you. This man is just like you. So he actually understands the uncomfort that you feel. We feel it too. Like we run away from things that we fail at, right? And that often becomes a point in which we begin to feel ashamed. But another man understands my failure more than another woman. But we don't give each other the opportunity. And that's what I would tell them is that listen, give myself or your brothers the opportunity to show up and be what you can't be in this moment. Like let me be your crutch for a moment. Not no. Take that back. Let me help you through this physical therapy. Now we
Mhm.
can strengthen your area of weakness, right? And don't keep using the crutch of convenience or the crutch of well, this is uncomfortable to lean on that as and don't do what you should do. So I would encourage this brother, listen, we overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony. So let me take this opportunity now to create an iron sharpens iron moment, but let me be vulnerable first. Let me provide the leadership first and say, you know what? I've been through a similar experience. Let me share it with you. And I felt X, Y, and Z. And I was disappointed in myself. I felt like a failure. So now I brought myself down and I have put myself on the table. And I've not asked him to do anything. I've allowed him to see what he should do by watching me do it first. And so now, without me having to ask, he would probably now feel more comfortable to share something that if we're in a group or it's one on one, that we can all give some insight in by sharing our stories, sharing where we've come from. So it makes it easier now once we realize, you know what, we all have the common denominator of being men. And the same way I feel now is the same way AB felt. It's the same way James felt before with something else. And they overcame it. They told me how. Now I believe, because why? Bible says faith come by what? Hearing.
Hearing.
And hearing by the word of God. So
Yes,
now I've
sir.
heard about your story, and now I believe it can happen for me too.
Amen. For me, what I would tell that brother is you cannot pour out from an empty vessel. So let's be honest. You can pour out all that you want. You can pour out to the rest of the world and to all these other people that are around you that are coming to you for advice. But at some point, you're gonna have to be filled back up yourself.
Mhm,
The best way to get filled back up is number one by going to God, but number two by getting that brotherhood around you that can
that's
tell
right.
you, yo, let me strengthen you up. Let me build you back up. Let me help you here. Let me help you there. I know you're struggling with this. Let
Mhm,
me pour into your life on this level. And let's keep it all the way 100. We talked about marriage earlier, where we
mhm,
said, if you're wanting to be married,
mhm,
you do not need to hang around single people always. That doesn't need to be the only ones that you hang around,
mhm,
because you need to hang around people that are at the level that you are trying to get to.
mhm,
So if you are wanting to be successful in life, what I would tell that brother is, yo, you wouldn't, if you was trying to get successful in business, you wouldn't hang around somebody that wasn't successful in business.
mhm.
You would get around somebody that is a success at that business as you was trying to be a success in, so that
Mhm.
they can pour into you that wisdom and that knowledge so that they can help you. And let's keep it all the way a book. Asking for help does not make you less of a man. It
That's
makes you
right.
more of a man because you're willing to say, you know what, I don't have it all the way together. So let me ask you how you got to this level. And then now that I know how you got to this level, now I can help somebody else climb that ladder as well.
Yeah. One thing I've learned, and one thing that was good, James, man. One thing I've learned that has helped me build that brotherhood. I've learned that pain is universal. You know, there was a
Mhm,
time where I thought that, what I was going through is only what I was going through. And
Mm-hmm.
that's
mhm,
because I used to go and hide in my cave. Like I said, I used to isolate myself. I didn't used to share. But one day I decided to walk out on a limb, be courageous and open up. And you start to realize that other brothers are sharing some of the same pains. They're sharing
mhm.
some of the same struggles, the same failures, and you don't feel as isolated once you open up. Once you start that conversation. So, like you were saying, Greg, like it's not easy, of course, but like you were saying, if we start the conversation, you'll be
Right.
surprised how many other brothers can relate to our stories, have
Mhm,
gone through what we've been through,
mhm.
that's willing to help you, willing to
Yeah.
advise you, or just willing to sit there with you and
Yeah.
and, and let you vent. And
Yeah.
that vulnerability piece. If a brother out there that feels like he's by himself, don't have another brother to keep him, listen, pain is universal. We all going
Mm-hmm.
through something. So there's brothers out there that's willing to keep you and hold you and help you.
And you know what's funny? This is probably about to be a little controversial, but there are two places that men oftentimes share the most and learn the most.
Mm,
And neither of those places is church.
mm. Come on.
Men open up the most to the bartender and the barber.
Yep.
And I think that our women and the church should look at why do men open up in those two places? Because something is being provided for us that makes us comfortable. When I am at the barber shop, I am getting a service They are giving me something at the barbershop that once I get out of this chair, I feel better about myself. Why? Because I look different.
Mm.
At the at the bar, I am still getting arguably a service that I'm not promoting anybody to get drunk, but I am taking a few libations that when I get up from here, let's keep it 100, I am going to feel a little better than when I sat down because I am now more relaxed. I am. I know it's controversial, but that's just the truth. You know, all of us, I'm sure, enjoy a glass of wine sometime. And I know I do at my house at the end of the day. I love a good Riesling, and it relaxes me and it calms me down, and I can woosah. And that's what time will happen at the bar. And sometimes that bartender is listening to you, and he or she is pouring into you something that makes sense, actually, because they have heard your story a million times from somebody else, and they know exactly what to say. Go back to the barbershop. The barber has heard your story before and can probably give you some advice that they probably learned from a different dude that was going through the same thing and tell you how they overcame. Because all they do is serve men all day, every day. The church could take a lesson from the bar and the bartender. The bartender and the barber. Our women could take a lesson from the bartender and the barber. To AB's point, we need you to listen and be quiet. And if you want to hear it in Spanish, escuchen a silencio. That's what we need you to do sometimes, is to listen and close your mouth. And because that's what's going to make us comfortable. Just like a woman, we don't always need you to solve this problem. Sometimes let us get it out.
Right.
And when it's off of me, I'm no longer heavy anymore. And I may have been able to think through this problem as I was speaking. Like, I'll be transparent for a moment. I have a lisp that I have learned how to hide. And I have learned how to hide it through speech therapy. But that used to be an insecurity for me. And nobody ever believes me now because they say, but you talk all the time. I do. I do. But when I was coming up, it would be heavy sometime. And I would speak fast sometime with a thick tongue. I have learned how to hide that. I have learned how to use my tongue and to form certain words intentionally different. That's why, if you notice, I don't talk real fast most of the time. I'm very careful about what I say and how I say it because I am thinking as I'm talking. But you wouldn't know that. But I'm thinking because that's still somewhat of a slight insecurity because I do not want that lisp to come out and to sound funny, especially on the air. So I am very careful about how I say things. I know how I want to say it, when I want it, and I'm thinking the whole time that I'm talking to make sure that a point comes out fluent, my words are clear, and that I do not speak too fast. Because that, for me, is an insecurity that I have always tried to hide, that nobody sees it. But again, I realize now that, you know what? It actually comes out every now and then, even on the air. Because sometimes you slip, or you're just not thinking, or it's just natural. But guess what? It's okay. Because if you're saying something, it doesn't really matter how you say it if they heard you and the point was good.
Facts. So, y'all, we thank y'all for rocking with us tonight. We appreciate y'all for rocking us with us in the comments and supporting us tonight. Next week, the sisters will be back on. They will be on next Saturday. And then we will see y'all Saturday after next for another episode of the Godly View. So, brothers, So until then, love y'all. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. We'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Peace.
Peace. Have a good one.